monitor to make sure. It's kind of like Joe Rogan's show. You know, he's always looking at another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I got some feedback, by the way.
We're exactly like Joe Rogan. Is that the feedback?
No, he's like, you guys are crazy, man.
Who said that?
Oh, one of the guys like that I play with toy trucks with.
He thinks we're crazy?
Yeah.
That's good, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that's good. It's nice to know that there's at least some feedback. Was there anything specific that he felt we were crazy about?
No, I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you guys are just crazy. I'm like, well,
Okay.
all
Did
right.
you tell him to make sure he likes and subscribes to the podcast?
I said, well, you got to keep watching.
Yeah.
Because
To
the
really-
problem is he would say, if I said that, he would go, how do you do that? And I go, I don't know.
It's always, there's so much. Oh, I just saw. Okay, so I was going to say earlier, but I wanted to make sure that we had this on the podcast, that I'm kind of sad that Nico's not here. But Brian, you just
Yeah.
pointed out that there's something on the Facebook. Oh, he's having a good time. Look at that.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's on a boat with a sailor hat on.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
I wanted to comment. I was like, well, that's a well-timed posted pic, Nico.
Wow. It looks real sunny for 18 minutes ago. Well, I guess he is. Oh, no. You guys are an hour behind us, aren't you? So, yeah, it makes sense. Oh, man. Wow. That looks like fun. Good for you. I'm going to like that picture live. And then I'm going to make a comment. Wish you were on the podcast in that hat. Boom.
He can respond, I'm glad I'm not
Yeah.
at my computer.
Right. Yeah, he's having a good time. I'm going to share the podcast from my page as well. And yeah. I find it interesting that, well, I've got this, you've got the option to share from your page or, and just share directly. Or you write a post so I can actually say something about it. That's what I would prefer to do. Come join us live if you're not out doing something more
It's
fun.
hot.
Is it?
Yeah. It is.
So
It's like 85 degrees still.
see,
here.
out here in Colorado, it's doing that thing. It's doing that thing where it's 40 degrees when you wake up, and then by about 11 a.m., it's 9 billion. Yeah. So it's obnoxious because you go out in a jacket.
9 billion.
Yeah, 9 billion.
Yeah. Is it like the heart of a sun?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Well, the top of my bald head says it is, or maybe it's just the
Singed?
proximity to the sun because everything on me itches now from sunburns and stuff. Yeah, it's awful.
You've been doing shoots outside?
Actually, yeah, but not planned to. The gigs that I've been getting, I don't think about it, and then I go and it's like, oh yeah, this whole shoot's on a turf farm. Okay,
Oof,
makes
yeah.
sense. We're outside today, And this morning shot at a early childhood center, but we couldn't use the inside for the interviews because there's kids running around. And then there was nap time stuff, so we did it outside. So I kind of like made sure it was in some shade. But yeah, the old neck is getting a little burned, a little toasty.
Need to get you a floppy hat.
I
Yeah, I got
know.
a floppy hat.
I've got what kind of floppy hat are we talking? Like big gardener's hat or
Yeah, like 7-Eleven floppy hat
That's
special.
flowers on it.
I'm not doing
And you
that.
can cant it,
Mhm.
and you'll be the belle of the ball.
The belle of the movie ball. I have like 2 fedoras. Maybe I'll try that. But then tomorrow,
Just glue them together.
tomorrow's the Break the Silence music festival at City Park that I'm shooting, and so again, I will be outside. So I've got sunscreen with me already. I'm trying to plan which hat to wear. So I wish I had Marty's fancy future hat.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that would.
I don't know. It'd be pretty reflective in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would blind other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would somehow create lens flares for you.
yeah, probably.
That's what J.J. Abrams, that's how he shoots. He just wears a shiny hat.
Yeah.
All the stuff he makes.
He shows up to set with it in his bag of mag lights to shine in the lens.
What's in the mystery box? metallic hats,
metal stuff.
mag lights.
Now that I know how that is done, it's so deliberate. I mean, anamorphic is super cool because it gives you that flare, but the flares were sort of an accent to movies. Like if you watch anything from the 80s, 90s especially, there's lens flares in it. I mean, anamorphic's how things are shot. Perry Mason was shot anamorphic, the new one. And so, but now that I know how you get the flare going, it's like you all just set up like 8 million flashlights, like just aimed directly at the lens at all times.
Have you ever watched the special features for the first Star Wars or Star Trek he directed? Yeah, they were literally, he handed out mag lights and they were shining them at the lens.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah,
Romulans, Romulan extras, get over here. Everyone
lunch is over. Let's go.
Yeah.
Romulans.
That was such a coveted job.
Put down your hoagies.
Right.
If I know one thing about Star Trek is Romulans love hoagies.
They love their hoagies and their blue milk.
And ale. It's the Romulan ale.
Oh, it's the Romulan ale. That's what it was. Yeah.
Romulan ale.
I mixed up my Star Trek
Which is illegal.
Oh. So how would something that's so culturally relevant to the Romulans, an entire planet of species, how could that be illegal?
It's a good question. I don't know why it was outlawed.
And that's the moment that Matt killed the podcast.
Star Trek, bro.
We're going to take some callers. You want to call in, talk about Romulan ale?
I think Star Trek's probably our weakest point, isn't it? Yeah.
Should we tell the people what we're doing tonight?
Yeah, of course. So last week we started something new called Nerds After Dark. Can't say it with a straight face
It's
just
stuck.
yet, but it's stuck. Essentially what we're going to start doing is, on our weekly podcast, we will still be talking about / reviewing a movie for the first 45 minutes to an hour. And then the next million hours or however long we go will just be us talking about the recent week, current events, sort of like this week in pop culture sort of feel to it. And we're going to call that Nerds After Dark. But we figured since Nico's not with us tonight, since he's on a boat, we thought, well, we'll just do an episode of just Nerds After Dark and just kind of talk about what's been going on and what's been happening lately. So, is that water in your goblet?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. It's just water.
But you drinking beer out of a can?
It is water. Yeah, I have beer out of a can.
Nice.
Because I was like, I need to drink water, so I filled this up with water, but then I have beers, so no.
Yeah. Well, once the water's gone, put the beer in the goblet. Yeah.
I'm being classy. I'm drinking a canned beer out of in a koozie.
Ooh. What is that?
Well,
not truly, is it?
Huh? No, it's Modelo.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
I got the old limoncello LaCroix going, which is just so delicious.
Was it Pamplemousse?
No, it's limoncello.
Limoncello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're getting weird.
They are getting weird. Crazy. This is the best one, though, by far, that they've ever made. It's stellar. And it's great because it kind of has enough flavor that it doesn't feel like you're just drinking water all the time. So, which is what I feel like I do all the time.
Do you have a soda stream?
I do. Yeah, I absolutely do. I have not, but see, I ran out of cartridges, like the AC, the CO2 ran out.
Like everyone does.
Yeah, just before COVID. And so then they shut down. So in this part of the world, you shop at Walmart. So they shut down the customer service area there at the beginning of COVID. So couldn't go anyways. And then I got it. And then I was just like, and then just been busy. So basically I have to go there, brave the 1,000,000-mile long lines, trade in my cartridges, get new ones. Because brand new, they're $30, but if you trade them in, they're $15. So it's like, well, it doesn't make sense not to do that. So,
right.
But it's great because the bottle's bigger, so the water lasts longer. But yeah, I've not been kind to the environment lately and been doing a lot of LaCroix.
Curriculum. Well, but that's cans, which I feel is still much better than things that can't be recycled.
Yeah, exactly.
Better than plastic.
Mm-hmm. Or plastics that you're like, yeah, this is recyclable. I'm gonna put it in this bin. They're gonna take it away, and everything's gonna be fine.
I don't remember if it was a news story or if it was maybe like a mini doc. I don't know what it was, but it was about a company that was apparently recycling monitors and computer parts and stuff like that. So the idea was, bring us your monitors and your old computers. We tear them down. We recycle the good parts. We economically destroy the other pieces. And then the truth was, what they were doing was, then they were selling all of those computer parts that people donated, selling them to a company in China, who then ships them over, dumps them in a landfill, and like 6-year-old orphans go in and like, sort through and like burn off the parts. But the thing is, like, all the gold and other materials that are valuable, in order to get those off, it would require, some means of like soldering and things like that. But the chemicals that were being released in this process were like, giving them burning their eyes out and making them have no ears and just crazy stuff like that. And it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, the company was making like millions of dollars selling this stuff over there, because they were turning around these parts, these gold parts. The gold itself was worth probably quite a bit, but
right. Yeah. When you have 6-year-olds just getting burned to death, sorting, what do they care? Yeah. They're making money.
Yeah. An uplifting story for the beginning of Nerds After Dark. Did you like?
We're off to a good start.
Yeah, did you like the new thumbnail?
Yes, I did very much.
Okay. I was like,
we're 80s-tastic.
Yeah. Well, the theme was. Well, I was at first. So I was gonna take a picture. I should have taken a picture. I was gonna take a picture of my first search. So I was trying to figure out. Do you remember those old infomercials? So you're over at your best friend's house for a sleepover when you're in like middle school, and the TV comes on, and it's those old chat lines that there used to be, the 900 chat lines you can talk with girls. Yeah, at
they still have those commercials.
Do they really?
They still exist.
Oh, man.
I'm blown away. Yeah. I don't know if it's for like 80-year-old dudes. I don't know who they're reaching anymore. Right. But yeah.
But anyways, that was my first inspiration, was trying to figure out how to make it look like an 80s phone
we have a chat line.
Yeah, because it is like, it's a chat show, and it's Nerds After Dark, and it sounds like a 900 number. But so no one really knows what 900 numbers are anyways.
Looking for a costumer tonight?
Yeah. So my first search on Google was something like 80s sex chat phone line or something like that. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want that in my Google.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah. So I just searched for like 80s. It was like 80s background and stuff. So there's just a ton of that stuff, And then I looked at, and then I just read a tutorial on how to make text look like that 80s block text with the shiny sort of metallic RoboCop sort of look to it. So yeah, that was how I spent 45 minutes of my afternoon before I
nice.
had to go home. Yeah. Skype hasn't quite perfected the backdrop, have they?
Nope.
Yeah.
Is this a video game place? I'm officially at a grandma now. Is that a video game place?
No, Grandma. It's called soccer.
No. Oh.
I got my iPad going with the stream on it, but of course it's delayed and it's like totally tripping me out.
Yeah, it's weird when you see yourself. I just have a little tiny window over here on the site that then distributes it to, Twitch and everywhere else. So we have had one viewer on Twitch on our last 2 streams. So I want to give a big shout out to whoever that viewer is and say hi and thank you for watching on Twitch. That's super awesome.
We're growing.
Yeah, we are growing. I really believe in that thing. See, I think that had we kept the Smoking Hot Nerds going when we first started it, I think that we would have, by now, we would probably be famous. That's probably not true.
We'd be giant.
Yeah, but we started it in 2015. Was our first podcast, which is crazy to think that was that long ago.
I'm not gonna lie, Matt. Like I remember when you started it and you told me about it. I was like, oh, I want to be on
no. Well, 5 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
Here. And now you're going, why did I want to be here?
Right. Yeah. It's good. Did you start the other podcast as like the backup podcast? It was kind of like your side piece just in case this relationship doesn't work out. You've always got the other podcast.
The other one is, if anything, this is the side piece because the other one's like a freaking marriage. It's way more work.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
What's that one?
It's called. We have a couple names, but it's a true crime one, and we're doing it all. I've been told it's basically a documentary without the video part. Mm-hmm. We're doing we have a microphone set up there. We're sending all over the freaking country, interviewing people like over Zoom, but then they have them recorded there to record the better sound. And it's basically about a case. It's a case that happened in 1967. And it's super trippy and weird, and we're interviewing all these people, and so it's me and one other person that are doing the editing and writing, and we're creating the whole thing. We have a third person that's helping us produce it, and it's I don't know when it's going to be done, someday, but we've got 3 episodes going at the moment, and then we're working on 4 and 5 right now, and it's it's exhausting. It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It's really cool, but it's I'm like, can someone just give me a script? I want to cut to a script.
Right. But that's the thing. So that said, when I start the documentary project that I have in my brain right now, I was going to talk to you about cutting it. But that's the whole thing. You have to write the story for something like this as it goes. But here's the thing that I can't believe you do this. You're basically, making a documentary in audio form. So there's no video cues. There's no B-roll. There's nothing that you can use to sort of tell the story better. It's all dialogue.
What we're doing is, thankfully we have we've got mounds and mounds and mounds of police interview transcripts and other transcripts. I don't want to say too much yet. I'll tell you guys off camera, but but we've got all this stuff, and there's news reports upon news reports. So it's we've got correspondence between people. So, we're trying to get our interviewees to say as much as we can, but also we're recording pieces of the transcripts to put in there. And yeah, it's hard. It's super rewarding. I was after I spent 2.5 weeks, and I think I was about to jump out my window when I finished my first episode. It was oh, this is really cool. But I have never fought so hard to get here. Just because, we're doing, basically what we're doing is we're just splitting up the episodes. We have 7 episodes. We've got outlines of, well, in this episode, we're going to basically go in sequential time from here to here. And then we just split up the episodes, and then beyond that, it's kind of all up to each one of us to write the episodes and write the right narration and structure everything. And it's part of the reason I bought this microphone, because it sounds so sexy.
Sure does.
But eventually we're going to try to hire actors to record some of the stuff we're just temping for now. Mm-hmm. But we're doing it, the sound effects, music, everything. It's basically, I've been saying, it's just imagine you're watching a docuseries and we just output just the audio kind of thing. So yeah, it's
so fun. And I mean, I've only had the experience of listening to 2 podcasts like that. One was true crime. One was Malcolm Gladwell's podcast. At least when I listened to it, which was probably 3 or 4 years ago, was kind of similar to that. But it is engrossing, man. It's like old school radio, because it's just you. Because especially I listen while I'm driving, so you get so wrapped up in the story in a way that, well, it's like a book, like listening to Audible. You get wrapped up in the story in a way that you wouldn't necessarily when you're watching it, because especially if you're listening while you're driving, there's nothing else to do. When you're watching a movie, it's slowing down, it's getting boring. Grab your phone, scroll through Instagram, whatever it is. But with this, it's truly immersive.
That's what we're going for, and like we're really happy. Like, and we've got, because basically the idea is we're kind of like blocking the episodes out and cutting them, and then just as we do our interviews, we're just gonna keep integrating stuff in. But we're pretty happy with what we have so far.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're probably gonna start letting some people like hear them and focus group them to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like today we did a 3-hour interview with the guy.
Mm-hmm. It's a long time to talk. I mean, it's not only a long time to talk to somebody, but it's a lot of footage to go through, man.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, it's like, God, and we have we're using an older iPhone than I had and a microphone that plugs into it to record, so that way they can send us the file instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually sounds really, really good. It's kind of crazy. But the person previous to this person, we couldn't get the system hooked up to her internet, so we had to wait for it to come back to me to get the file. So it's like I got 2 interviews today wow. Now, and I was like, I'm gonna spend Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday just listening to these and logging them. Yeah, maybe not Monday because I'm taking Monday off, but
Labor Day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really remember what holidays are.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like the person I'm working with is also an editor, and she's also off right now, obviously. And she's like, I said, well, I'm going to take the weekend off. She's like, yeah, it's all the same to me. I'm like, no, I'm still taking my weekends.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Like, this one is so far, that one was rewarding, but this one's much more fun so far because it's just, we watch a movie usually and just get on here and shoot the shit for 2 hours or however long Eric can stay awake.
Yeah. Today it's Friday at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been under the weather, so I've gotten more sleep than usual.
Yeah. But no, basically, I would say this podcast is probably more the side piece. It's like the fun, sexy one.
Right. Yeah. The one you meet at the hotel, like on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, for sure. That's us.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
But it's like I meet up with Eric, but it's Matt's voice,
Yeah. Could do a little bit of her meetups.
It's funny we talked about the old 900 shot lines because, of course, her did that, and the chick wanted her to strangle her with a dead cat that was beside the bed randomly.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's a new way of doing it. I mean, that's what the whole. It's always the same thing. Every app, every piece of technology that moves us and presses us forward into the future, eventually devolves into a way to make money and a way to sexualize it. Those are usually the two ways that it always happens, But I remember I listened to a lot of stuff from Gary Vee, the entrepreneur guy. But one of his talks, he was talking about how technology is fascinating, it's amazing, but we don't take it seriously at first. And one of his examples is, and I forgot about this until I heard it, that when the iPhone came out, there weren't a lot of apps yet, but the most popular app on there was the one that made it look like you were drinking a beer. So it was like this app that came up, and then if you tilt it back, it makes it look like the beer is getting empty. Oh man, I remember seeing people at the bar like doing that, like thinking it was the most hilarious thing ever. Like, I mean,
well, yeah, you're right though. Like when a new piece of technology comes out, it's like either one or two things. How can we weaponize this? Mm-hmm. How can we monetize it? Or how can we use it to get laid?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And then through potentially getting laid, how do you make money again off it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because I love all the the apps with profiles on dating sites, and it's young lovely women, and they just are like, here's my Instagram. Mm-hmm. This is how I'm getting likes.
Oh, totally. Like, okay. Yeah, back in the Tinder days,
so I'm getting followers.
It was a weird turnover because I'd say like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would be like scrolling through and that I started noticing that trend that they weren't trying to find guys, they were trying to get Instagram followers. I was like, that's brilliant, to have that like forethought to think, well, if I'm relatively attractive, these guys are going to follow me on Instagram. They're going to try to DM me, whatever. But still, it was a great way to get followers.
So now it's just all about the gram.
Yeah. At that point, yeah. I don't know what it's all about now. I don't know. I've been out of the game for a long time.
I mean, TikTok is whatever, but yeah, as far as what the sexy thing is, I don't know.
Yeah, TikTok's probably the sexy thing now. It's probably the most sexy. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of sexy,
might get banned.
Yeah.
Mind of Nico, sneaky drop in.
Where is he?
On the YouTubes.
Yeah, is he on the YouTube? Is he listening? Is he watching?
Mind of Nico, quick sneaky drop in.
Yeah.
We did have 3 viewers for a while. Now we're down to 2.
I get real excited when I see it's at 6 or 7 concurrent viewers. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because why not? It's fun.
Yeah. Anyone have any exciting plans this weekend? It is Labor Day weekend coming up.
I think I'm going to go eat at a restaurant on a patio, which is the first time I've done that.
Oh.
Are they open in LA? I thought that they closed.
Yeah, there's some. They're doing al fresco now.
Nice.
Movie theaters are still closed, but yeah, there's places doing al fresco dining. It's hilarious driving around town, like driving like up La Brea, and I see like all these barbershops cutting people's hair outside on the sidewalk.
Right. Yeah.
They're like windy. Whoops.
One day it was windy. I'm like, oh, that's gonna make a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
That's gonna blow it. Yeah. Yeah, and then we might
Right
go
next to the food truck. Yeah, just hair blown into burritos.
There's hair in my food. No, it came from the barbershop.
I think it was down the street from a Chipotle. So
yeah, there you go.
They've already got terrible PR.
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah.
They're like, thank God, COVID. We don't have to tell people about our latest lettuce scare.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Chipotle.
I do love Chipotle. It's been a while.
The new Arby's. Bars getting made fun of.
So what did you guys watch anything this week?
I watched Bill and Ted, the new Bill and Ted, for my other podcast. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I watched the first 2. The first one was just kind of on while I was working on a thing. Because I'm like, I remember it. So I didn't absorb it as much. But Bogus Journey, I barely remembered. Aside from, them playing games with death and all that. And then, watched the new one. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
Nice.
Yeah. It's fast. It's like an hour and a half. It's crammed, full.
As it should be.
It moves fast. It's silly. It's fun.
That's cool. Yeah, the trailer pops up everywhere right now. TV, it's on even on get on your Apple TV, it pops up. It's kind of all over the place. So
I think they timed it pretty well since there's what else is happening?
Did it release in theaters as well?
Where it could, I think it did. Yeah.
Nice. To check it out, worth watching?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, if you haven't watched any of the other Bill and Ted's, you'll be like, what? I feel like I saw some article that was Gen Xers trying to explain Bill and Ted to Gen Zers. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It is an
Gen Z
interesting
kids
thing.
think that 90s are cool, so they should be fine.
Yeah, that's
They'll
true.
get it.
They do think it's cool, but that's the thing. They have to go back and dive back into it. It's sort of more the lore and the feel. It's kind of like with Mad Men when it all came out and it made the 60s cool again, but no one was rushing to watch movies from the 60s. It was more the feel, the nostalgia, that kind of thing. Because if you do,
but
really
they wanted the
go back to them,
pacing and the storytelling of today,
right?
With
Exactly.
the look
Yeah.
of 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
Just lots of smoking and drinking scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very specifically picked, manicured version of a decade, which is what movies do.
Yeah.
They have their right to.
It's like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, kind of portrays that era in a way that is really appealing. But I don't like 60s movies, and I really don't like old, anything. It's just, it's just not fun. It's just because there's no pace to it, but the acting is very, oh, hey, how are you today? Oh, I'm good. How are you? And it's very regimented, and it's not my thing. But I love.
It's hard to watch
feel.
a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah. But I love the feel of the 60s and the look.
The only movies from the movies that I can watch fairly regularly and be okay with is from the era is just Hitchcock movies mostly.
Well, and part of the reason for that is because he bucked the norm completely.
Yeah, he did his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been watching my way back through Archer.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, again.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, when Archer was funny. Oh, now Archer's not funny.
So when did it turn the corner? Where, at what point?
I feel like when it hit Archer Dreamland.
I think the first season of Dreamland was like...
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But like, I've heard it gets funny again. And now I think the new season that's getting ready to start, it's like he's come out of his like coma that he's been in all this time. That's why they did all these weird seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I feel like it ties in, so I gotta watch it. But so I just been running around the house screaming Lana and phrasing the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Why are we still doing phrasing? The funny thing, because the first Dreamland season, you could tell it was what the writers really wanted to do. They did like noir.
Yeah.
It was the 20s or 30s or maybe 40s. I can't remember where they said it. But it's like old LA, but very seemingly like super grounded. And I was like, he's in a coma. They should be fighting dinosaurs. Like, make it crazy.
Right.
And then literally like a season or two later, they're fighting a T-Rex in an episode. And I was like, yeah.
And that where they made Krieger a parrot or something.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's the second season. Yeah, where they're on an island and he's a pilot. And it's like, that's like the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
Well, how many seasons are we?
I think we're coming up on 10.
Yeah, it's got to be close, right? I'm gonna check.
I started back at the first season. I'm like, when it was the funniest freaking thing on TV.
Yeah, 2009 is when it started.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think that, let's see here, what season did I think when I was introduced to it, I went through the first 3 or 4, and it was just like I couldn't believe that it existed. I was like, how did I miss this? How is this existing and I didn't know? Because it's hysterical. And I think I watched through whatever season they were like a drug cartel.
Oh, Vice.
Yeah.
Richard Vice. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 or 6 or something like that. So that's as far as I got. Yeah.
There.
But the first 3 are just, I mean, it's like Simpsons at their prime level type of stuff,
Right. Because the show when it started, it was firing at pretty high cylinders.
Oh,
and, it's just
a bunch of actors who you don't know.
They jumped the shark because when the terrorist organization ISIS became a thing, and they're like, oh, we can't call our agency in the show that anymore, so we're just gonna blow it up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because even by the time they got like Vice, that season had some funny stuff, but it was already kind of like, we jumped the shark, we've gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Which is, I think, where it needed to go. Because otherwise, you just do The Simpsons, you just do South Park, you just continue to do the thing, which is fine and hilarious. But you could tell that the cast, crew, writers, all those people just didn't want to just do that, and just have a bunch of seasons like that. The line that I say all the time in my head, and it just pops in literally every day probably, is he died doing what he loved, getting shot.
What's his name? Who's the guy?
I forget what his name was, the guy in the office.
Keeps getting shot every time something would happen. Yeah. And they're like yelling at him to shut up.
Yeah. They're always mean to him.
Yelling at him for bleeding on the carpet.
Yeah.
You want ants? 'Cause this is how you get ants.
And there you go. That was the beginning of the ants thing. I just saw a commercial using the ants thing. Oh, I think it's a Geico commercial. We're just like, wow, everyone's getting on the ants train after Space Force.
Space Force really inspired many. Or Space Corps? Is it going to be a Space Corps?
Space Corps.
I feel like Congress is starting to step in and go, okay, how are we actually structuring this thing?
It's being advertised as Space Force as a branch of the military. So
I think it's like, do they treat it like the Marine Corps is within the Navy? Mm-hmm. I think they're starting to get into the details
because it is still technically Air Force.
Right.
It's its own thing, like the Marines are, but it's still a branch, a subsidiary, or whatever you call it, of the Air Force, which it always was. It always was the Space Force part of the Air Force, but now they created it as another thingy.
Right.
Because I was laughing. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I had nothing.
Oh, I was laughing because, I'm a racing nerd. And of course, the week we didn't have Formula One, I was like, well, I'll watch the Indy 500. Mm-hmm. And there was a Space Force sponsored car.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Just Steve Carell Space on the front.
Did they have the emblem yet?
They didn't really show it.
Yeah,
that
the
much
new emblem's okay. It's good. It looks like they redesigned it again. So they redesigned it. It was a slight upgrade from the original, which just looks like Star Trek. Yeah, it looks like Star Trek. Yeah. But the new one is still kind of the triangle-y thing, but it's a little bit better. I mean, the Federation of Planets symbol's already great. Use it. Just use it.
For Star Trek.
I mean, right?
And that's why the article I read that was getting into things was essentially trying to make the case for doing naval ranking. So that you could have ensigns, you could have captains, you would have admirals, you would have the Star Trek.
Go all Star Trek.
And just go. Which, again, you're like, okay, yeah, the space is an ocean, per se. You have ships in that ocean. It's Navy. Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah, why do you got to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go with what feels good. And their argument was probably very nerdy, but it was like, I mean, who's going to want to go in to be a, whatever Air Force person? No, you want to go in to be, you want to become an admiral, a space admiral.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be so great. I would love for us to be listening to this episode in about 40 years, and that there's actual space admirals.
I wish I knew more of the history when Air Force started and it kind of broke off from the Army from World War II, and kind of what people's perceptions were if they were like, Air Force, that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Well, paratroopers were like that, because if you read the Band of Brothers book, and I think there's a little bit of it in the doc, but that's what it was, where they were like, we're trying this new thing where we're going to have people jump out of planes with parachutes on. And people were like,
what?
I'm not going to do that. That sounds crazy.
Did they start the parachute thing?
Yeah, paratroopers were new to World War II. Yeah,
were the first.
Yeah, I think parachutes probably existed, but it wasn't used. Again, like apps, it wasn't militarized yet or sexualized. Right. So, but they paid paratroopers, I think, $50 extra a month. And so whatever that equivalent is in dollars now, people were like, sign me up, let's go. And so... But I mean, it was obviously a very dangerous thing, but it turned out to be a much better choice to be a paratrooper than be someone just storming the beaches on Normandy, So it was actually kind of a good move.
Yeah, the one that on paper sounds the worst ends up being way safer than, say, you're in the ball turret in a B-17. It's a big, tough plane. You'll be fine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's like probably safer than rolling up on one of those amphibious vehicles when they drop the gate, and if you're in the front, you live.
Yeah, also
for
known as
3
murder
seconds.
Holes. Yeah,
yeah.
But it's weird to me that nobody stepped in and were like, hey, let's open it up. Let's get it up on the beach and open it up from the back, or let's put doors on the sides. I don't know anything, but that would probably be a good move for storming a beach.
Like, I don't know. I guess did it matter? Like
maybe
they're gonna have to come up at some point. So.
But you could be like ants, and you can have 4 doors, and everybody scurries out, and then they spread out, as opposed to going down one hole.
Just one, yeah.
Basically, just a funnel.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is like, don't be a line where you just spread out.
A bullet funnel.
I mean, it's a dark thought, but you almost got to wonder if maybe someone did say that, but they opened the front to make people get out.
Yeah,
because if they open for the side or the back, people could have like I'm not getting out. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
It probably had to do with design and money. Yeah,
yeah.
It's just cheaper, and we can't redesign it. We need to do this thing.
Right.
But yeah, but me, I haven't watched anything. Nothing this week. Nothing. I've been doing shoots this week and doing a few things. But yeah, I didn't watch anything. I did rewatch the Dark Knight trailer, or Dark Knight. Oof. I just became old. The the Batman
The
trailer.
Batman.
Yeah.
The Batman. Can we say it's the Batman?
The Batman.
Would that piss people off?
Why would it piss people off? What would?
I don't know. Because
Yeah,
everyone
Batman.
has to be pissed off about everything.
Or the.
How much arguing have people had over Batman?
But man.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
That's our world today.
Yeah. Wait, is it gonna be good? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we can't judge it until it comes out, but it's just like another dark.
I'm having a hard time getting interested in it.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, obviously.
Yeah.
But it just seems like yet another movie about a tortured Batman. You know.
Yeah, I kind of want stupid, campy Batman.
Mm-hmm. That'd be interesting. Yeah.
You want Batman Forever and Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want the Schumacher
Right.
campy, but I want.
More Adam
I think
West.
that's yeah, like just completely like benign, silly. I don't know. And then, but then, horrifically violent.
Yeah.
And really satirical.
Yeah.
Like that would be my package.
It's like horrifically violent, but with pow.
Yeah.
Zing.
Pow! But then like a guy's head gets blown up.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel, Batman! Ah, this guy like, and just blood shooting all over their faces. Yeah. And Robin's like, gee whiz!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
It makes me think of that.
Anybody out there want to fund me?
I love it. What was that show on? Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up. I absolutely loved it when it came out. I think it's Australian, and it was sort of like a '60s satire, sort of like a bunch of secret agents. And
I'll give you a hint.
Okay, give me a hint. 5.
I'm giving you the hint.
Okay, hang on. Oh,
That's the second.
gosh.
There's a word before it.
Yeah. Force 5? I don't remember. What was it called?
Danger 5.
Danger 5.
Right. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you introduced me to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Never
Have you
got
seen it, Brian?
No, I want to.
Yeah,
Though.
gotta check it out. Might have to rewatch it again. Maybe watch it for the show. But super campy Australian sort of rip off of '60s spy movies.
Mm-hmm.
But they do that thing where it's just they use like miniatures and marionettes and all kinds of. It kind of has a what is it? Team America sort of feel to it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's mostly live action, but then they just jump to very obvious miniatures and like Barbie dolls at points, and you're like, oh, it's
I've
wonderful.
never seen this.
Yeah,
And it's alternate reality where the Nazis, Hitler's still alive, and they're trying to still kill Hitler, and their team leader is an American bald eagle, like literally an eagle, like a mascot, and he's got a moving mouth. He's like, do this and that. I remember, team, kill Hitler. And they're like, yeah. And it's a team of like, there's a Brit, there's an Aussie, there's an American, there's
like an
people
Indian guy.
from
Yeah.
like the Allies.
Well, they
come
also
together.
have an animated character. I don't know how many episodes he's in, but
They bring
there's like
him
an
in.
animated dog. Yeah, who's a member of the team, but he's full on animated, and so they're interacting with him as live
like a
action
very
people.
Hanna-Barbera looking dog. Yeah.
Is this a YouTube thing or something? Or
Oh man, I don't remember where it debuted, but I have to find what it's
It
on
ended
now.
up on Netflix.
It ended up on Netflix. Yeah, see if it's still there or not. But it's great. It's really, really great.
They had 2 seasons. I didn't get through all of the second season. It really went.
Right, which is the bummer because it was super, super good. And the first season was like, I cannot wait to watch the next season. And then they went from the 60s thing to an 80s thing. And it was just like, it wasn't as great. But it says it's on Amazon Prime. So,
Nick or Eric, I gotta say, like your Funko that's just in the background, it looks like just a really creepy little doll back there.
It's just becoming a.
he's watching.
He does live with black demon eyes. Yep.
Yeah.
I've added a little more to my thing.
Looks good.
I got,
You got a Terminator back there?
Harley for Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brian, you'll like this.
Sploosh.
This is from my other stuff I had done. I have other
Where'd you
things.
get that?
I'm got it. So that year I did the crowdsourcing scenes for Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do the Libyans.
I
That
love
was
it.
the insane scene I had to do. So I was like, I'll just do it with some nerdy guy playing with toys. That was,
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Well, I've been live texting all of my Funko acquisitions, so you guys have seen them.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's getting real. You're gonna, next thing you know, it's gonna be Nico style. You're just gonna have your
Eh,
RC cars back there replaced with Funkos.
I've got 4 Funkos. I don't know. I feel like now I at least have to finish the Back to the Future collection.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Would be important.
is Elizabeth Shue? Who else? Do they have the Western?
They have
versions of them?
they have pretty much all the Martys and the Docs, and they have the one Biff, but they don't have Elizabeth Shue or any of the girls or anything.
Interesting.
They've got like
Do
4
they-
or 5 Martys and a couple Docs, and
Do they have Marty in his union suit, his red onesie with his butt hanging out? Because that's the Funko they should have, right? That would be
Yeah,
a pretty
That's
good
a deep
Funko.
Funko that they haven't made yet.
that's a deep cut.
Yeah, they made a lot of
That'll
Funkos.
That'll be Comic-Con exclusive.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I saw this headline on Facebook and it said Funko to shutter its doors after 22 years. I'm like, what? No, and I clicked on it. I should have known better, but I was just in the moment, and it was a Rickroll thing. I got Rickrolled.
Oh,
That's a
brutal.
rolling.
I was like, wait, this is still a thing?
Right.
Wow.
A relatively new Funko lover, and you got it. You bought it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm ashamed.
Flying a sinker.
Yeah,
It is funny where I'm like, I didn't fall. I haven't gone down the Funko thing, but then I'm still buying stuff for my background.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's no different. And I'm buying stuff that you could probably get like 5 Funkos for the price of what I'm getting. So I'm like, I certainly can't tease anybody.
Right.
well, yeah, it's like Matt and you and I were texting, and you were like, I didn't get it before, but I do now.
Yeah, I get it now. Yeah, it
Oh my
could be
God.
dangerous because the
Oh,
thing
when I
is, once you
touched
get
my
one,
little guy, I got it. I know it's not the
Yeah.
first time I've said that, but
Tonight.
yeah,
in the words of my my 5th grade counselor,
once you pop, you can't stop. We
That's
do need
right.
to get you some uplights though, because your background is just too good. We need to get
Yeah.
you some lighting back there.
I'm not gonna lie, I love Friday Night Eric.
Yeah, I know. We should do.
better.
Yeah, I was just blasting it. Yeah.
It's hard because I've played around with lighting and I can't get something that's not like weird and shadowy.
Yeah.
Like over here, it's just bright because I have the white.
Mhm.
All this stuff over here is dark.
Yeah,
I need a
'Cause
better
these back
backdrop, I
here are
think.
like the
Yeah.
LEDs. I think they're too bright because they're kind of washing out everything. But I mean, it's the camera's fault. But yeah, it'd be fun to try something that made sense. But yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah,
You got some
that's
good stuff
them.
back there, man. Gotta light it up. Light it up.
So the only thing I can make out is your weird little Funko's face
Yeah.
Yeah.
being
He's
creepy
just
back there.
Staring. at
Right.
you.
A little Terminator dude. But yeah, I was like, oh, Terminator. I gotta represent that.
Mm-hmm.
So I found independent 1/10 scale,
Oh,
which is what
nice.
the NECA or NECA, whatever they say, back when Arnold went, oh, I will authorize my face being used.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, I found a Fat Boy Softail
Nice.
Harley Davidson.
So is that scale was the only time that he said you can use my face?
Oh no, he used it for Hot Toys. Like the floodgates kind of opened, and I don't know if it was. I think around Terminator 3, he was like, "Yeah, you can use my likeness." He got
I
to
need a
that
paycheck.
age. Yeah, pretty much. And I think too, maybe that's when they started using computer, so you wouldn't risk being like, "I'm signing off my face," and then it looks horrible. Like I think they were using technology where it's like,
Right.
"Oh no, it'll look like you,
Right.
100%."
Because there's some that are real rough, depending upon the character. Yeah,
Yeah.
the faces are pretty brutal.
And I think now they just get actors, and it's just part of their thing, and they just sit in a booth with a bazillion cameras, and they get their picture taken, and then they become a toy, and it looks creepy, amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of toys and faces, I was looking at, the thumbnail Matt you made earlier. I'm like, how can I get my Funko actually made?
I know. There's got to be a
I
way.
need that. Yeah, there's got to be a way.
Because I know that Nico had mentioned maybe that there were some knockoff places that would do it, but you would think that Funko could probably figure out a way to make it make sense for them to make like one-offs.
Oh yeah, like Funko yourself. And,
yeah, exactly. Kind of like
I just Funko'd myself.
Should have saw that coming.
Yeah.
You just lobbed it right over the plate.
Yeah, that was a softball. Let's be real.
I mean, if M&M can print your name on an M&M, or Hershey's can do what they do, I think Funko can probably figure it out.
Well, it's not nothing, but at the end,
definitely,
yeah.
Because it's one thing just to print something on an existing shell, but if we're talking about they would probably have 6 or 8 different versions that were close enough to everybody, that could actually.
I mean,
fit.
I think it's like any when you can make your avatar on a computer. I think they have CAD files of that you can just pick a thing, because that's when Nico was talking about Hero Forge, where he got custom minis from his Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Yeah. That's what they do. So they have you can choose all these different things. It's pretty much just choose your eyebrows, choose the type of face,
right.
What creature are you, what kind of pose do you want, what's your height and weight, and you go through all those metrics, and then
there's still millions of combinations, but it's like license plates, it's just, but it's still the same pieces.
Right. I think the painting is what would be tricky. I don't know that whole process.
Oh,
but,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But maybe that's still pretty easy too.
But you got to wonder though, how many Doc Holidays did they really make? Because I don't think there's probably a huge market for that Funko, so they must have.
How many? Tell me.
Just ask him.
Where is she? Do you think the new Batman's gonna do that?
Yeah,
the parents are dead.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Oh man. The marbles in the mouth, Christian Bale. Anytime you give him the American accent, it just turns into marbles in his mouth. Yeah. It's a great.
Yeah, I watched the third one. I caught right before he was about to crawl out of that hole. And I was like, oh, here he is. Okay.
That one is so long. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's forever. And it's just a bummer.
Yeah, it
the
is
whole
a
thing,
bummer. Yeah.
It's
it's just you feel how long it is. It's
yeah.
But
every minute feels like
the
60
problem though too
seconds.
is the Heath Ledger one is a bummer too, in a lot of ways. But because of the fact that he died, way too long. His death makes it really, really, really sad, sort of. But no,
it gives it weight.
The movie should have ended when Two-Face revealed he became Two-Face. Black. That's when the movie should have ended.
Yeah, they wasted Two-Face.
Yeah, exactly. So that would have been a great place to end the movie, and then the next film picks up Two-Face becoming Two-Face. But instead, it was sort of this big reveal, and then it was another 45 minutes. You're like, oh my god. You have to do more of this?
Right.
All right.
You nailed it. What are you doing? It's done.
Yeah. There's your third movie right there.
So third one with Bane?
Yeah. Bane and Talia al Ghul.
That's right. They've all mushed together for me.
Did you guys ever watch the College Humor Dark Knight videos?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're great.
Well, the funny thing was, and when Talia stabs him, and she's like, "Wait, but we had sex." Yeah, I know. It was all part of the plan. If that's part of the plan, sign me up for another.
But we had sex. We did a lot of things.
It's good. The one with him and the Joker is good too.
Yeah.
I've seen that in
Badge, and not in the order you would expect.
He has like her panties, and he's trying to give it to Bane. He's like, "Which one of these things do you smell out of?"
It's all the stuff that you're thinking when you're watching the movie, you know? Yeah.
Did you watch my favorite one was where he's like in the College Humor offices. It may be one of the last ones they did, and he's being trained how to use like the printer and different stuff, and he's still trying to pretend he's not Bruce Wayne. And the guy, and they're talking, and he's like, he has a sandwich. The guy's like, "Oh, did you make a sandwich?" He's like, "No, my butler did. My butler. What's his name? Alf. Alf. Yeah, Alf. Your butler's the alien from the '80s sitcom. Yeah, it's probably Cat." What's his name? Pete Holmes. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Like, I almost enjoy watching those more than the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, pretty much.
I liked the first one okay. I feel like people were like, the first one. I was like, that's fine.
No,
because they're all stupid. They all have dumb stuff, which is appropriate because Batman stories have really dumb, crazy crap. And even The Dark Knight, where it's like, I'm going to put on goggles. I'm going to use every camera in Gotham. And I'm going to find the Joker. And you're like, this is stupid as hell. Great. But then, of course, they twist it and they're like, this is like the Patriot Act. You're like, oh, it's heavy, but still stupid.
No one man should have this much power. That's why I gave it to you.
That's why you've got the button.
It's so bad.
When this is done, type in your name.
It's part of the reason why that I think we've talked about before, that fake universe, like the fake world, is where DC like has. That's where they have the disadvantage always, because it's not in the normal America. Right. You know, it's
even
fake
though
cities.
Kansas exists, but it's not
in Iowa.
Right.
Yeah.
But Metropolis is obviously New York, but it's not, and so just things like that. You know, and Gotham is. So is Gotham then like the Boston? Because it's close enough that they can just hop right over to each other.
I feel like cities-wise, it's almost like they're right on top of each other. It's almost like Oakland and San Francisco or something, right? Like that seems geographic.
Or like New York City proper and Jersey. Because I'm one of the terrible Zack Snyder movies. They're talking about just across the river in Gotham.
Yeah.
Or across River Metropolis, one of the two. But
feels like a real waste of an idea to just smash them right next to each other, because then it doesn't give any scope to the thing. Because the thing too is Superman came from Kansas, and I think at some point in time in one of the movies they talk about, are you going to go to Metropolis? And so it was as if Metropolis was actually like Kansas City.
Drive.
Like it was just where everybody goes. Like, well, if you're talking about like the big city, I guess maybe Kansas City. I don't know what would be the next biggest place. So that was always confusing to me. Topeka.
Duh.
Be great if that's what the original writers intended, was that Metropolis was Topeka.
Like, we have a feeling Topeka's just about to boom, baby.
It's gonna blow up.
It's time. It's Topeka's time.
All right.
I'm putting my life savings on it.
All 2 bits of it.
Yeah, oh god.
But the whole thing with sort of the manufactured fake cities, it gives you some certain freedoms, but at the same time, I mean, Marvel has clearly shown that you can create stories that, while wacky, still somehow seem rooted in reality. We're talking about the movies, anyways, because even when you're flying around to where does Thor live? Asgard. You know, you get enough of that sort of that we call it not the mystery, that fantasy world, and then you still have like the tangible New York sort of thing, and so it just makes sense.
I feel like the whole Gotham thing, at least in The Dark Knight Rises, was it bumped the shit out of me because I feel like at least in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, they shot it in Chicago and New York and LA, but they did well at blending it. But I watched The Dark Knight Rises and I'm like, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. It's like I don't know the way they cut it. It didn't blend well or something. I don't know. It's just the locations, but maybe just because I know those places, but I don't know. They didn't make.
That's the point, right? Is to make it so that even if you know it, you don't think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But
it's like, what was that Godzilla movie? The wonderful, that last one they did.
The one in
God
Vietnam?
of the Monsters or whatever. No, there was like
I haven't watched a
the more
Godzilla
recent
movie in
one
years.
with the girl Billy Bob Thornton. The girl. What's her name?
She's awesome.
Billy Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown. She's in it, and the guy from Friday Night Lights, the coach dude, who's just like exacerbated the whole time.
Joel Edgerton?
No, he was. God, what is it?
We should go on
really,
Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor. He was also in Bloodline and.
Yeah, he's in 8mm. No, what's that movie called with J.J. Abrams' movie?
8mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Was
Or
it?
no,
Was it
Super
Super
8.
8, yeah. 8mm, that's a different movie.
We're all convinced that that's what it was.
Very
8
different,
millimeters. Nicolas Cage, isn't it?
Is that him? Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it is. That's like snuff films.
Yeah.
Very different.
Another Joel Schumacher film.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I know the guy who cut it. I
Yeah.
heard some stories. Yeah,
Schumacher?
yeah. Well, that and making of that movie. Yeah. Shout out to Joel Schumacher. He just passed.
Oh, he did?
He did?
Yeah.
Man.
Oh.
Oh, Kyle Chandler.
Couple
That's
months
who you're
ago?
talking about.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Guess it's 2020. That's
Yeah.
how I didn't. That's how I missed it. Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, now I have to watch his Batmans in the proper
You don't. You really
proper
don't.
frame of mind. Well,
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta try and give him one proper chance.
Yeah.
Have you
No,
never
that's
seen
true.
them?
Oh no, I've seen them, but I want to feel like it can be a different experience than Nothing But Trouble was.
Right.
Oh God, I think those movies are better than Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah. Do they? In the Clooney one, well, the Clooney one has Schwarzenegger saying amazing stuff, right? He's like, "Hey, Batman, how did the dinosaurs go extinct? The Ice Age."
Yeah.
Yeah,
They really.
that's pretty good.
It's the kind of script that no one ever said no to any idea, and they said yes to every first idea.
Yes.
So there's like, what should we use? We're trying to come up with something really good. How about, hey, Batman, freeze? Perfect. Done. That's great. He's Mr. Freeze. He's going to say freeze. Let's do it. There's never
I'd
any
love
attempt.
if he was like really eloquent. And Arnold's like, I got some ideas. Hey, Joel, yeah, come over here. And then Arnold forced them to
say all the
just
terrible
stupid
lines.
puns.
Yeah. But it had Clooney and Chris. Call him Christopher Robbins.
What's Robin? What was his name?
Robin is Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell.
And then was
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone in that one as well?
Yep.
Because they kind of become Batman, Robin, and Batgirl at the end, and they kind of run towards the camera.
Oh,
with
the running with the
flowing.
backlight.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember,
there is.
though,
Speaking
how
of light, I'll
cool,
be right back.
Silhouette.
Okay. I remember how cool their costumes were, though. I mean, the idea where they were wearing
Nipples
the
and all.
little, and the masks that Robin and Batgirl had. Oh, they were so good. But
Yeah.
I want to know if the movies are. We should watch them sometime and just see if they're actually as bad as they seem.
They are.
Right.
As we remember.
Because
them.
I know they're
Probably are.
bad, but are they enjoyable bad? Are they
Right.
just like are they a chore to get through?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they, ugh.
Well, Clooney's apologized repeatedly for them. So I think it's worth watching now. But I mean, it's such a different era. Like even when because it came out when we were kids, and I just remember not understanding why I couldn't figure out if I liked it or not. I was like, I don't get this movie at all.
It's Batman, so I need to like it.
Yeah.
Yet I'm not feeling it. So what do I do with that?
Because they did the blacklight stuff with like the neon sort of bad guys, like the gangs of bad guys, and so like their little lair was all neon. So it was definitely hearkening back to the Adam West style, but then it just was very, but you're still talking about some of the most famous people in the world at the time being in it, so it's very confusing.
Well, and two, like visually, all the designs, it's like what they've been doing now, or what they did with Snyder, like the Batmobile is a great example. Like what Snyder did, it's like it's taking the tumbler and then it's like stretching it and throwing more crap on it, and it's trying to take its tumbler plus a little bit of the Tim Burton one, and it's a little bit of the video game one, and and so it gets so muddy. You're like, I don't know what this thing is supposed to be, what it's supposed to be inspired by. I mean, you know what's inspired by, but it's just visually, you look at the thing and it's a mess. It just looks like mud. And I feel like those movies took the Tim Burton aesthetic and then they just dumped more crap on him, and it just got super busy. And so you're looking at it and you're just like, oh, it's just more stuff. But it's not maybe more sophisticated. It's just busier. And like you look at the Freeze, Dr. Freeze, like his costume, is he Mr. Freeze or
Mr.
Dr.
Freeze?
Yeah. Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
He's a doctor, though, isn't he?
That was one of Arnold's suggestions. Should we make him a doctor? Just for fun.
I feel
smart.
like this guy got PhDs. I think he knows how to freeze stuff pretty well.
We'll call him doctor for now, and then we can change it later.
I love if you can tell there's ADR every time he's like, Mr. Freeze.
I am doctor. Yeah, it'd be doctor to Mister. Yeah, it's a tough one. Make it happen.
God.
Do you remember those? So there was some little booklets that came out monthly when we were kids called Disney Adventures, and they were like, it was from Disney. It was like their publication for kids, and it was a little book, and it came out every month, and it had just articles about the movies they were making and things like that, interviews with actors and actresses and things like that. But there was a full one that was just about that Batman movie. And I remember like the whole thing just showed all the costumes and everything and talking about the movie, and showed like the new Batmobile. And I was enamored by it. And then same thing, watched the movie. I was like, I don't understand why I don't like this. This doesn't make sense. It was supposed to be the coolest thing ever. Yeah, it's Batman. And it's Arnold. And we love Arnold. And yeah, it was wacky. We should watch them though. That'd be fun. Is it Batman and Robin? Which was the first one?
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
It was the Val Kilmer one, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the Val Kilmer,
Nicole Kidman,
Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
and that was Schumacher.
Yeah, he did.
First Schumacher one.
Yeah, Burton did the first two, and Schumacher did the second two.
Wow. Well, that was Tommy Lee Jones playing Two-Face, right? Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a crazy cast.
Again, super, super, super famous people at the time.
Mm-hmm. Nicole Kidman was on the rise at that time. I think that was sort of like one of her breakthrough, sort of moments. Wow, that's crazy.
And the Seal song.
Kiss from a Rose. Yeah.
Oh, so great. That one still gets me going if I hear it at a wedding.
So you probably hear it at every wedding that you shoot.
Yeah. Up until the last one. I don't think I played it at the last one. So
I have alternate lyrics, but I can't remember them, and that's probably good right now.
Well, can you figure them out for next week?
Yeah, they'll maybe pop up.
Yeah. Write them down. If you look back though, when the
I
you got it?
Yeah, I can't say it. Yeah,
not appropriate.
I'll text it.
NSFW.
NSFP.
But ever since '88, which is the first one, there's been so many Batmans. But I think that '88 was the first time that comic books became cool again. You know, that it was like starting to come on the rise, and we were able to make movies about comic books.
Oh, speaking of 88 Batman, Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman in the Flashpoint movie or something.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's gonna have Michael Keaton and Batfleck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are they going to be playing like? Is it like different timeline Batmans?
Yeah, it's like I think because it's the Flashpoint, so it's alternate. It's different realities. I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Like, okay, so we're gonna get the real Batman back, Michael Keaton.
Right. Yeah. Right. Almost the complete OG.
Yeah.
In other
like,
news,
if Adam West was still alive, he would.
Oh yeah, totally be in that. It'd be so amazing.
Yeah. Sorry, another news.
No, the Netflix is going to be. Is it in development, or what's going on with the Senna series?
I think they just announced that it's supposed to be released in 2022.
Okay, cool.
I thought it was a docuseries at first, and I was like, well, they kind of already have. They have a really good.
Great.
Yeah, so I was like, but no, it's a scripted. It's like an 8-episode thing.
Awesome.
I was pretty stoked. I hope they don't screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What is it? What?
It's about Ayrton Senna. He's a famous Formula One driver, most people think like the best, and he got killed in 1994. And so I
think I maybe saw some small
the
special
doc on Netflix is really good. Like really,
it's
really
fantastic.
Good.
Yeah. But now I guess they're making a scripted version of it.
Any word on who's playing him?
It didn't say. Like, I don't. It seems like it's a brand new thing.
Yeah, cool. The trailer looked very cobbled together, like someone at marketing made it on PowerPoint. But
yeah, I think they just threw something together for the announcement.
Yeah.
It's just archival photos of him.
You
pretty
would
much.
like that. Like,
PowerPoint.
What is this PowerPoint?
I mean, you take those two words; they're both pretty cool words. So yeah.
I got your lyrics.
Yeah,
Okay.
you read my lyrics.
So these are your rewritten lyrics to "Kiss from a Rose." Yeah.
Baby.
To me that
Because I think he sings "Now That Your Rose Is in Bloom."
Mm-hmm.
I swear he actually sings that, doesn't he?
I think it does.
That's the actual.
I'm like,
song,
the second part of that is something else than originally whatever he wrote. He's like, okay, now what am I actually gonna sing? Because this is what I want to say.
He doesn't like how I write scripts where I just write whatever comes to my mind, and so no matter what, it's where I'll write it and I laugh and I'm like, oh, that's a great line. Nope, that's from Three Amigos, and I just keep on going, and then I go back and revise it. So he just writes the dirty version of the song and then goes back and fixes it. Yeah,
I feel like all these guys, that's what they do. Right?
Yeah,
I've made stuff with you, and like we'll get a line and we're watching dailies, and you go, "Oh, I was supposed to rewrite that, and I never did."
Yep. Well, that's actually pretty much every character's name in anything I've ever written is that. I just write whatever comes to my mind, or maybe like somebody comes to mind as I'm writing it, and so I just use their name, and then I just never change them. And which is kind of not a good thing, because I've had people say, hey, like in a good way and also in a bad way, was that character about me? And the answer is always no. It's
no.
inspired. It's maybe inspired in some small part by you, but that's one of the reasons why I really like doing documentary type stuff now, because I don't have to worry about that. When you make something up, nothing is totally made up. Everything has to do with something in your life, and so I prefer not to have anything like that out there, So and I just never change people's names. So like. In Platonic, my character's name was MJ. Not super stretchy to, should have changed it, but what are you going to do?
Well, I just remember.
I just know. That'd be great.
7 years later.
Realize that just now.
Like I met you guys and I started cutting that, and we were 2 or 3 episodes in, and I think I just asked you, I was like, dude, did like most of this actually happen? You're like, yep.
Mm-hmm. Kinda, yeah. Some of it really did. Yeah, which some of it I kind of regret putting on in video form. Sort of like not a super mature move on my part in some respects. Some of it's just so well acted and created and stuff like that. But when you're in it and you think it's hilarious and you really want to do it, you don't think about maybe that the person that it was inspired by might see it and be upset by it. So I didn't take those things into consideration back then, but I certainly do now. That's why I don't write anything anymore.
Documentaries.
Yeah. Now I'm taking your real story and making it sound good.
I'm putting robots in it.
Yeah.
Sorry, your business has robots now.
There were no robots during the war. There are
taking
now.
this wedding video. Here, Brian, cut this.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Killed it though. They loved it.
That's
loved
good.
Every second of it. Yeah. So might do more weddings. So just so you can cut them.
Hey, yeah.
But shooting them isn't that much fun either though, because you're a stranger in a giant group of friends and family. So it's just kind of awkward sometimes. And
being there. Yep.
Yeah, just kind of in this group of people that you don't know, or maybe you do know, but still it's always just a little bit awkward. And there's always like the party person who wants you to stay and have shots, and then there's always sort of like the crabby. There's always the aunt that's making sure everything's perfect. So there's very typical things happening at every wedding. So, but yeah, it's kind of over it.
I feel like it's a high stress environment, like to go shoot it, because you're capturing these couples' wedding memories and. It could go poorly.
Yeah, well, that's why the contract up front is so important in gigs like that, because weddings, people are trying to pinch pennies everywhere they can, and so you make sure that it's very clear exactly what it is that you're going to get from me. And so if you don't want to pay for the best man speech to be in the video, it's not getting recorded, because then there's no chance for you to say, oh, I kind of noticed that you did that. Do you still have that? So that way, it's very clear. You get what you pay for when it comes to that kind of stuff. So way, way, way different than when I'm dealing with businesses and stuff like that. But the weddings, I learned very quickly that you had to be very illicit with what you were going to do and give to them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, photographers. But, talking to wedding photographers, they gave me those tips, that was contracts were the most important thing when it came to doing weddings and stuff. So makes sense. Yeah.
It's lovely. Well, I don't know. Weddings are just so funny because it's just a day.
Yeah.
Some stuff happens, but
an expensive day.
You put so much on it. And it's like, a thing happened, and it's important, but
yeah. Well, we've put
it's funny.
Culturally, and we can just talk about our culture. Culturally, there's a lot of pressure put on that day.
Mm-hmm.
On a day that the numbers tell us 50% of them don't really work out. So it's sort of weird that we put so much emphasis on this thing that doesn't carry that much weight in real life. Mm-hmm. But the day of the celebration, that's what is the most important thing. We should put more emphasis on funerals. That's more like no one's being super picky about funerals, but you're actually celebrating something that's over or whatever, that no one you don't get divorced after your funeral. So
or like something else. I guess it's birthdays, but
birthdays, quinceañeras are great because bar mitzvahs, great example. Those are actual moments, culturally relevant moments. But weddings are kind of funny because especially a lot of the weddings I've done a couple second weddings, so or like second marriages and stuff like that. So it's still kind of like, you did it once, you want to do it again? All right, let's do this.
There we go.
Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah.
Those are people I've like. I've certainly never been to. Like if one person's getting married for the fourth time to someone who's getting married for the first time, I would love to be at that wedding and be like, how is everyone dealing with that? Yeah. And the two different sides, like, hey, we've gone through this. Because, the family on
You know
the
what they're
fourth
thinking.
side. They're not going to show up anymore.
When the
maybe
when the vows part happens though for the person who's getting married for the fourth time, it's like they have to ask again and again, sort of like having to make you like re-enter your password, just to make sure that it's you. Can you re-enter your password and say I do again? Now your new password can't be the same as your old password, so
gonna put up a mirror.
Yeah.
You need to stand there with her and look. Okay,
Look right.
now.
There you go. Okay, now say it.
Are you sober?
Say it and mean it. No.
It's like the who has ever officiated wedding like puts their glasses down their nose. Are you sure?
Yeah. Are
you sure? Are we going to have a talk about this?
Remember at a friend's wedding, it was a Catholic wedding, and at the rehearsal, I mean, this is the only time I've ever, I know that they can be somewhat strict sometimes at Catholic weddings, but this one, the priest was like real serious, and he was just like, he got the room quiet, and he was like, if I even have a single inkling that anyone in this room has had even a drop of alcohol, I'm calling this wedding off. This decision has to be made soberly by all involved. And we were all just like, okay, you got it.
Well, we got to call it off then.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this planning, they were drunk the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time they sat down to think about this wedding over the last how many months.
Yeah. And probably drunk when they made all these decisions.
I mean, yeah,
to go out.
Probably
maybe they were drunk when they met.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, wait, hold on, Your Honor.
Yeah, we might need to trace this one back because
yeah.
We can't do this sober.
The chain of evidence here is not looking good.
We're amazing together when we're drunk, and I think we just need to
be.
Today's celebrating us.
Yeah.
Meaning we need to be trashed, Father.
But he's really said it in a way that made us all feel like we were in school. Like the teacher was reprimanding everybody. I was
like, yeah.
All right. I mean, I know I was sitting in the audience like I don't think they should do it, but I'm sober, so
yeah. Well, this episode got dark.
Well.
Yeah.
Go down the old marriage road. Hey, there he is.
This is my Sam the bald eagle I made. Still need to put his hair on. But
now, Sam the bald eagle blue?
He is. You wouldn't think it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like, yeah.
Why do you think they made him blue?
Red wine blue. I don't know. It is weird because he is like completely blue.
Yeah. Yeah, he's all blue.
Black eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's all the fabric they had that day when they made him.
Yeah, maybe. Sometimes it's just that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably the first sketch that they did. They were just like, oh, we just need another Muppet.
Mm-hmm.
Throw some components together. And then they're like, oh, he's a hit.
Yeah.
This conservative, gruff, straight-laced American Eagle Muppet is gold.
Well, probably has to do, too, with when they're building Muppets, looking at, okay, Bert and Ernie is sort of orange and yellow, and we got Big Bird's yellow, we got Oscar's green. Like, what do we need in the mix of Muppets to sort of round out the color palette a little bit? So,
yeah,
let's go with blue.
Yeah, he does stand out in that way. But yeah, its beak isn't a different color; it's just all blue.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you wonder how much conceptual. I wonder if there is concept art for Muppets out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Those original Muppets. Because I did watch a thing on the making of the Muppet Show, and they had just like a bunch of blank heads with a bunch of different eyes, bunch of different noses and crap. And so when they're like, they just need some random Muppet, then they're just like, boop, 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 and this hair, and boom, now it's this character.
Oh, interesting.
So that's the way they rolled. But as far as, the set cast, the main characters, I don't know.
Well, the evolution of characters like that is fascinating to me. Like the evolution of Mickey Mouse. I think it's so interesting. You know, how we settled on the one we've got today, but it came after, 6 or 8 iterations But iterations.
He was
even
a Nazi
when he was popular.
when he started.
Yeah.
He did horrible things when he was his first incarnation.
But
and
he's
now
always
here he
been a
is.
patriot.
How dare you, sir?
That's like, was it
he-
Uncle Sam? Uncle Sam was like anti kind of military in that sense. It was more of a liberal,
Oh, really?
mascot, and then he got flipped, and he became the
Interesting.
pro-military.
Which is kind of Uncle Sam is sort of he's synonymous with just America. The government, I guess.
America.
I didn't know that though.
America.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I should send. I saw the Conan show. They're trying to get like viewer interaction. I think they're doing their own like recreate the scene, and it'll be on our show. And I'm like, now you do this
Right.
when I'm too busy.
Right.
But now they're also, if any of you are interested, I think they're telling people to send in like full body images of yourself, and you'll become a cutout in his audience.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, can I go to my Boston costume stuff and find like me as Sam, as Uncle Sam, and just like me and Lederhosen, and just send those and see if those
Send them all.
populate his audience.
Oh, it would be great if you send him an email with about 30 attachments of you in all those different
Say
costumes.
just one,
Yeah.
none, whatever, all of them, whatever.
How great would it
Speaking
be, though, if he did a whole audience of just you? It'd be amazing. You in different costumes. It'd be so great.
Yeah.
Speaking of the costume shop, like, tell me about this costume shop. What do you do? What does the costume shop do?
So
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
I run the costume rentals. So that's, for anything from just small parties to movies or theater or whatever, short film. So what I've done over the years was essentially take a costume stock that existed that maybe had pictures, but not a very good representation, and kind of put everything in their proper time periods and did photo shoots, and then we put them up on the web.
Interesting.
And so you can go to the website and you can see me in way too many different looks and a bunch of other people. So we built a whole catalog online, and now we ship, around the country, kind of lower 48. And,
okay, so it's in Boston, but it's like nationwide business for shoots and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And so, especially right now, we're doing much smaller business, of course, because there aren't that many things that can happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, most of everything that we've been doing has been shipping. We finally started to get a little bit more action locally again, but yeah. So that's a thing I've done for a few years there. That's like the main first thing that I did. I do other things for that company, but
Nice.
yeah, that's that. And then we also just have, costumes to buy and, accessories, makeup, wigs, stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. So
That
it's,
sounds like fun, actually.
it's got its moments, and sadly it pays way better than, working in theater or in film in that area. So, because there is film, I just was starting to kind of get into it before the shutdown. But yeah, like theater doesn't pay. It's, which I get. So I go, oh, working at this costume shop. The people be like, oh, that's what you do? I'm like, yeah, that takes care of me much better.
I had, when you guys first asked me to be on the podcast, like, I had high ambitions. So, like, I think it'd be like funny and stupid if I just like wore a different costume every week and not tell you guys what I'm doing. But I was like, I don't know how to logistically pull that off, and I'm not that creative. But I just thought it would be funny.
I had thought at times that I would do that too, just like one of my past Halloween costumes. Like, I'm just one night I'm a Klingon, and we just go and don't mention it. Yeah, like that kind of thing. I think that'd be great.
We should do a Halloween episode, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do some costumes.
I probably can't do that night proper, but this year it is Saturday.
It's on a
Halloween
Saturday.
is Saturday, yeah. And I think people are going to let loose and go big time on Halloween.
Oh yeah, because it's going to be the first,
even
post COVID, sort of thing. Yeah,
even though it's going to be so deep into fall that we're probably going to be in a real bad time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
gonna
people
get
are
bad.
still
But everyone's
gonna,
wearing masks anyways, right? So it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, so do you think so historically, you guys might have talked about this while I was away, but if you don't know Brian, like basically when October starts, we're just never going to hear from Eric ever. It's just
That's
bonkers
no
banana
more
sauce. But
so
what's it
much
going to be like
true,
this year?
But yeah,
Yeah.
like even last year, the business has just changed
Yeah.
enough. So like the costume shop is part of is owned by like a thrift store that's big and luckily doing very well. So that's essentially
That's good.
floating the costume shop.
Yeah.
And so last year was finally a year where I was like, oh, Halloween's not horrible. That
Yeah.
means business is not nearly as good.
Right.
It's the age of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's stuff we get business still, but yeah, like that percentage of what they expect from October in the past, even before COVID, was already like,
Yeah.
okay, just can't expect that. We have to make it up throughout the rest of the year. And this year, we're just going to kind of assume that Halloween will kind of happen, but not really. And we're not really going to do much planning for it. And then, if something happens, cool.
Nice.
But again, I feel like people are really, once we get there, people are going to want to do Halloween, whatever that means. And even if it's just people doing it over Zoom and people buy wigs and do makeup, who knows, what the extent will be.
Yeah.
I think there will be a lot of people that have potted up will do house parties.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think
And
that in
there are probably a lot of
places
people
like
irresponsible.
this, like where I live, we're not gonna. You're gonna see the normal parties normally, but I think that people might step out of their normal zones in the more conservative. What I mean by that is places that have taken the COVID thing very seriously. Probably gonna see people maybe say, I don't know, maybe we'll just do a Halloween thing.
This one night, we're
Yeah.
just gonna,
Yeah.
So we'll see middle of November if there's a mega spike.
Yeah.
Because Halloween happened on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look forward to that because it means I'm done with my side work and Halloween will be over.
Yeah. Right.
And then I can enjoy my weekends again, I think.
How long are you thinking about sticking with this 14-hour-a-day schedule? That you're
I
on right now?
mean, for a while.
Yeah.
I'm just going to kind of keep doing it
good.
for a hot minute. Yeah.
Just keep
'Cause-
getting the extra cash.
Yeah. And especially now that I have side gigs I'm doing on top of it, like once I go back to just doing that, I'll be like, oh, cool. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
I can be chill on my weekends.
Yeah.
Nice. So, because this weekend I'm actually taking this next week off from both the jobs, but
Wow.
I'm finishing the Northeastern show, the Dungeons and Dragons show.
Nice.
We're having to make a bunch of crazy monsters.
Ooh, bring that a little further towards you.
This guy hasn't been painted yet. So everywhere I could, I just bought, things,
Yeah.
but then I've altered it. So it's like now a person can wear this, and I made it a moving jaw.
That's cool.
Got, Nico will know more about the various characters. They're all Dungeons and Dragons-y. This guy will have a crown on.
Skull
He's a
Head Man.
lich. It's called. Got a crazy goat monster dudes.
Face.
Creepy.
So all these things I've had to go in and chop out pieces and put in netting so that you can actually see.
Right, so people can
Because
see
this
out of it.
was going to be stage production with combat.
Wow. Ooh, an orc
Yeah,
or
kind of.
goblin? What is he?
Bugbears, they're called. But
Oh.
yeah, sort of. So I'm going to put tool netting for their beards so you can still see through it.
Gotcha.
And war paint. And I have these big crazy. So these sit on the head. And this one has where you open your mouth and his mouth opens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, my vacation will be frantically finishing this stuff.
Yeah.
Cha-ching, though, hopefully.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd get paid any more because they had paid me before lockdown. They were like, here's all your money because, you didn't agree to a global pandemic.
Right.
So they gave me all the money. But then, so when they're like, hey, we're going to film it now, I was like, well, I can't say no. I would be a jerk. And two, I want to finish it. The people are lovely I'm working with. And the kids, the actors, they want to have some evidence that it actually happened. So it's going to be filmed and streamed.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So at bare minimum, it'll have cool production stills. But they are paying me extra.
Nice.
So get an extra ad fee out of it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Makes it feel like it's worth it.
That made it feel it'll feel a little less painful.
Yeah.
By the time we get to the end of this month.
That's how I treat before, when I was doing 2 jobs, my vacation time was pretty much to do the side hustle. That was, I used that to catch up. So, but I was still in that mode very much so, because my last day at the day job was like about a week ago. And so like this week I had 4 shoots, which turned into 5. I got 2 next week. And then the next week I've got nothing. And so I'm really excited for that week because then I can just sit down and just edit stuff.
Edit,
I can just work on the projects every day, which is going to be really nice. It's the little things that makes you happy, right?
So your last day at the day job was a week ago. So describe how you felt when you got 5 minutes left on the clock and you're watching the clock and it's like, okay, it's time to go. And you're like, to describe from like 5 minutes till you end your shift, till you to like the walk to your car. How did you feel?
So to be honest with you, the whole night and the night before, really, because the night before I was working with a different crew than the next night. So I was kind of like saying, like, not goodbye, because it's a small town. I'm still going to see people, but it was somewhat morose because I was, sort of like I'd spent the last 3 years, with these people like 12 hours a day, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. So it was that, and so it was knowing that I had to like have some moments with people, and so it was a little bit down, but typical of how I roll nowadays. I worked an overnight shift from 9 p.m. till 7 a.m. I had a shoot at 8 a.m. that next day, so my last minutes of counting down were literally just me like sort of like organizing how I was gonna like. Okay, get back to the studio, go home, maybe take a quick shower, get to the studio, get all my gear, get out to the site. So I was doing that.
You had how much time? An hour?
Well, so I had an hour between getting off and then getting out to do the shoot. It was very simple. It was just a photo shoot, but it was something. But that was. But then also I then had a shoot on Monday, so this was Saturday morning. So I had to also figure out my sleep schedule. So was I going to sleep? Was I going to stay up and then go to bed like super early to be back on a daytime schedule? So I was really honestly just like all logistics. It didn't really hit me until this week where I'm just like right dead in the middle of kind of like doing exactly what I want to do with my life 100% of the time. And so it sort of started to settle in like that this is my job now. This is my life now. But the week has been so crazy. I really haven't even had a chance to process like the exit and all that kind of stuff. So, and it still kind of feels interesting because I had my exit interview on Tuesday because we didn't get to do it before. So I went back in, had a conversation with HR and the managers and stuff, just kind of like, give my 2 cents on my experience. And then I don't get paid out my final paycheck until next Wednesday. So, so there's still in my mind, it still feels like I'm still kind of attached to it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure it'll settle in
distance
eventually. Yeah, exactly. Like in my brain, I'm actually still even thinking about I'm like, okay, so today I can work on this. Tomorrow I've got the shoot. And then, so what days do I work this week? So I'm still thinking about what days I would be working the day job and trying to sort of like ration my workout on my days off. So I still haven't quite switched my brain off into, I'm still sitting down on my computer here at the studio and typing in my password from work to log in. So there's things like that are still happening. So haven't quite separated myself. But that said, the feeling of that freedom of like doing what you love, 100% of the time there's nothing quite like that. I haven't really experienced that before, so it feels pretty good.
Have you had that moment of, holy crap, my income is all on me now?
Yeah, I had I had that feeling before, because I put in my notice on January 31st,
right,
that I was going to exit on April 1st. And then, I had the conversation with them. They were like, have you considered staying, this and that? So I decided to stay for an extra bit of time.
Yeah, so once the world changed, you went,
yeah, for sure. And so I had already kind of had that conversation with myself, and I started to freak out a little bit, because at that time, like March-ish, the bulk of my income for the year at that point in time was going to be weddings. And I was starting to freak out, not because weddings were canceling, but because I didn't want to do weddings. I was like, I think I'd rather work in a cheese factory than do weddings as the bread and butter. So I kind of have already processed all of that to the point where I'm at now, with business being the bulk of my work, B2B stuff. So I'm creating promotional marketing material for, small and large businesses. There's something about that I love so much that I'm not freaking out about, that I don't think about the money part. It just makes sense to me. I'm like, yeah, this is just what I do. I make videos for businesses, and that's how I make my living. So it's sort of, I had COVID to process all of this to figure out if this was I really, really, really wanted to do. And so it was nice to have that to think about,
Well, then too, like you said, you've been able to have continuing success during all of this, so which certainly helps you to go, okay, if it's working now, then
absolutely
there's no reason why it won't work.
Totally,
when things are better.
Because that's the thing. If companies are doing okay to great, they're spending money on video. That's what they want to use to get themselves out there, and that's not going to change. What might change is the medium. What might change is more competition, because I'm kind of the only game going in town at the moment. So I am trying to constantly elevate my game and change some of my tactics so that I don't get stale, so that, because it's a double-edged sword, right? So I'm the only game in town really doing it on this level, so most of the work is coming to me. But the thing is, if I keep doing it the same way, everyone's videos are going to look the same.
Yeah.
So I don't want that either, But at the same time, a lot of people want what I do. They said, I saw that video, I want that. So that works to my advantage as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy that it's working out for you, and I'm happy that, like, once COVID, I feel like I don't know that it actually subsided, but I think a fair part of the country just decided it did. I'm glad that your work, like, came back right away. So
yeah, me too.
I'm grateful for that. And slightly jealous, because I'm okay. This is Nerds After Dark. I'm going for it.
Nerds
and
After Dark.
A couple of beers in. Yesterday, like, I had I don't want to say I had a freak out, but like I was, for some reason, the weight of all this stuff just started coming at me, and I'm just like, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed, because I am in like the pissiest mood ever about everything, and I'm like, I'm sick of the COVID. I'm sick of people dying. I'm sick of, like, it's always been a problem, but it seems to be especially a problem, or it's just televised right now. I was sick of terrible things happening to African Americans and cops doing a lot of it. And, I'm sick of the fact that I'm probably not going to work until after Christmas. So I'm just like, I'm going to bed, because I'm just like, if I don't go to bed and just like calm down, I'm going to be a real asshole, which is probably good we didn't do this last night, because I probably would have been like sloppy drunk and just really hateful. More than normal. I know that's hard to imagine. Yeah. So, but seeing that yours is going well, and you kind of recovered quickly. from all this. Like, it gives me hope, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
not to get all sappy.
No, but thank you. Obviously, I mean, I appreciate that a ton. Obviously, like a lot of what I'm doing now was super influenced by me watching you do what you love for a living. Like when, you started moving into these big shows. And I was just like, wow, like this is possible. Like one of my best friends is doing exactly what he wants to do with his life. It was very inspiring to me to download Premiere and figure out how to edit and do things that I really wanted to learn. But as far as the piece goes with sort of like the letting it overwhelm you, I've really, really, really had to step back from, I was never like a news watcher. I was never like a person who got involved in that kind of stuff. And I've really had to step back from it and like really like do a secondary deep dive into like what I want from my life. Because if I let the news and the political environment and the injustices and all that kind of stuff get to me too much, it puts me into a headspace of lack. Like everything is going to hell, like nothing is going right. People are awful to each other. It takes me out of the zone that I'm in sort of like doing what I love. That's not to say that I can't do something about all the horrible stuff. I think that that power is still there. But I definitely not turn it off, but sort of be the gatekeeper at my brain to decide what's good for me and what isn't right now.
Or not let it become counterproductive, where you're like, oh, now I'm just spinning. Because I think a lot of people that get very into political things, they're just spinning, and they're just like, and there's no energy being put out in any way that's positive or that they're feeling anything, and so I think that's that balance, making sure you're not just like when the lockdown started for me, I was like, I gotta stay busy because I knew if I was just sitting around like worrying, it was gonna go bad real quick for me. I was like, I was gonna be sitting depressed, like eating out of a giant thing of peanut butter,
right?
And just going, Sounds
pretty good.
Yeah, and I've remained fairly hopeful and like upbeat about it through most of it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when the lockdown happened, it was a fairly large like freak out, and because I had just bought a brand new BMW friggin' month before that,
right, when
I was booked for the rest of the year. So but I feel like I've been pretty positive about the whole thing. I was like, oh, I'll work again, it's okay. I'm pretty like crazy about saving money because people would give me shit because like, calm down, it's fine. I'm like, no, the big one's gonna happen eventually. I'm gonna need all my savings, which case in point. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't want to burn through my savings. But like, but then yesterday, like I was mad about everything, and then it turned into I should really not be mad right now because I have a nice apartment, I have a nice car, I still have money to hold me for several months. It's gonna be okay. So then I started feeling guilty about being pissed off about it. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to bed because Friday is when the F1 race weekend starts again. So if I just go to bed, they're in Italy, so they're hours ahead of me. So when I wake up at 6 a.m. like I always do, because I'm a psychotic person, like I'm just gonna go to bed so I can wake up and watch free practice 1 and 2 of the F1 race weekend. That's like I just need to do that.
Right.
So like. And tomorrow, same thing. When I wake up because I can watch qualifying in the morning.
I mean, there's that's important though to have to sort of reframe it like you did, where you go, no, I've got this great place and I've got the great car and I've got this life that is amazing and I do have savings and that's what it's there for. I think leaning into our privilege and sort of understanding like where it really rests is an important thing, and saying like, yeah, what, I do have it incredibly well and better than a lot of people that I know. And then using that to sort of turn it into something productive, turning it into like you'd done, Eric, where you're really working hard to, keep things going. I mean, that was what I did. I mean, it's 100% what I did. Even when I had that like week and a half where I was like super, super sick with the Rona. And then after that, it was just like I got right back on the horse and continued to just make stuff, even if it was just like stuff that I was just making for myself, just to keep being productive, and to sort of learn and keep learning, in there. And also it kind of introduces you to new passions and new things that you love that you maybe didn't know you loved before, and you can lean into Formula One and things like that you can actually sit and enjoy, which
Oh yeah,
you wouldn't
I'm
have been able to do
obsessed.
before.
I'm like a Raiders fan for Formula One. It's disgusting.
A Vegas Raiders, or
You
like
wear
old school
shoulder
Oakland?
pads
Yeah. With spikes on
with
them,
spikes. Yeah.
like skeleton helmets and stuff.
But no, it's like I've decided I'm going to try to go to the Monaco Grand Prix for my 40th birthday. So I'm only 25, so that's a long way off.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's that far out, so I can I can save all this money, so I can do it the right way and rent a freaking boat in the harbor and watch the race from a boat, like all the ballers do.
You want to do why don't we go to that though? Like, let's go earlier than 40 so we can slum it a little bit. Let's do it
That's
like
fine.
33 or something.
Yeah. I mean, I would go every year if I could. Like, I want to go.
We'll be 80 by then.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to go to the Austin Grand Prix this year, but that's not happening, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, no, live
Monaco
sports next year.
Awesome.
So, isn't that where Iron Man fought the guy from Russia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Monaco Grand Prix.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He had a suitcase suit.
I can't remember the character.
That's what it was.
That's a movie I can always have on when it's on TV. I'll just leave it on. Like, it's not the best movie, but it's pretty just watchable. It's like there it is.
Yeah. Is that the one with Ben Kingsley?
Yeah, that's the third one.
That's okay.
Second
He's
one's
pretty great in the third.
work.
If it's not the first one, the rest of them just kind of smushed together for me. Yeah. Because Captain America, is it Captain America or is it like Civil War, which is kind of an Avengers movie? It starts
Civil War,
they start to pop around a little bit too much.
So,
exactly.
Since we're in Marvel land now, should we talk about the sad thing?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I was thinking about that. Maybe we can do our like little bit of chat and tribute to him next week once Nico's on, because I know Nico's like a huge fan too. So
yeah,
I think that'd be good. But yeah, we did.
But Nico, if you're listening, you now are no longer allowed to do the podcast without the sailor hat.
Right. That's new, and we've all just decided you have to wear the sailor
You were
hat.
outvoted, bro.
It's a good
You have
hat.
to redo your Funko.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
But my friend Catherine.
It should be the thumbnail for this
agrees.
episode.
Yeah. All right.
Eric, you Funko-ized this. Can you put a sailor hat on Nick?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Make that
I'm gonna
happen.
Funko
Yeah.
him.
Is he wearing a life vest he's wearing a life vest in the picture. Put that on the
You have to
Funko
wear the
too,
life
please.
vest too.
Yeah. I love it.
Oh yeah, afraid you're gonna fall off just fall off the boat.
Into Lake Powell.
Would you
maybe
do
that's
jump
where it is.
ship?
Jump ship.
See,
There it is.
Yeah, I made it a Back to Future reference. Eric with the assist.
I was trying to get.
I'm
there
drunk.
and
I'm drinking White Claws now.
Oh. Was that your backup in the cooler?
Yeah, I had 2 Modelo's and then I threw a White Claw in for
You're
good
like,
measure. It's
just
like,
in
we'll see
case.
if I get there. I don't know if I'll get there, but I did.
It's always good to have that backup, but the backup that's not one of the good things. So the one of the things that you really like. Yeah. Because in that way,
A few
I'm
beers.
on to
and then,
just
like,
tea now.
yeah, just didn't feel like I wasted it.
well, like it's funny because we went for 4th of July. We went to see some of Natalie's friends. They live in Sacramento, which I love Northern California so much. But we went out on their boat. They just had they had Truly's, White Claws, and wine coolers. And we were like, me and Natalie's best friend's fiance were just floating in the lake with life jackets improperly on. We were wearing them like underwear, drinking wine coolers. And we're like, aren't you glad we're old enough to where we can drink this stuff and our buddies won't make fun of us anymore?
Right. Were they Zimas? What were they? Really,
they
technically,
were
that's
in
what Truly
cans
are.
like this, but they were total wine coolers.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was we got on this damn boat and somehow we didn't bring any beer. It was all this foo-foo shit.
Yeah. Well, because you're hot, you want something that cools you down. Beer sometimes gets a little in the mouth, and so it's nice to have some White
Especially
Claw.
when you're working on shitty beer.
Yeah.
And it's warm in the sun. You're like, I gotta still drink this. I think it's hard.
Yeah, if you're gonna drink beer in the like hot ass sun, you gotta drink it quick or it gets rough.
Oh yeah, it gets real rough, real fast.
And then you just feel like you're sweating the beer. Yeah. It's like,
these problems we have.
Such
Boats
problems.
and beers.
Real hard.
Yeah.
Oh, when you drink beer when it's too perfect out. Oh, it's the worst.
Awful. There was one time, and I got this job. Well, I used to be
At Christian camp.
Yeah. I guess I technically still am. I haven't gotten a gig from them in a long time, but I used to write for a wine and spirits magazine very frequently. And one of the gigs that they gave me was I got this text from one of the editors, and they were like, hey, can you do this gig tomorrow? We need you to write about Lafroig Scotch. I was like, yeah, sounds good. I love Lafroig. It's great stuff. He goes, but the thing is, it's going to be a Scotch tasting with their new Scotches that they've never released before on a yacht. And I was like, yeah, I'll make that work for you.
Yeah.
So I went out on this yacht. I actually didn't. I had to work. I was working at a bar, and I had to work that afternoon. So I couldn't even like really enjoy it. But it was one of those like real privileged person problems where I'm like, well, I can't drink 30-year-old Scotch on a boat because I have to go to work, that kind of thing. But it was, it was like a 40-foot sailboat that was just pristine. It was just gorgeous. And yeah, they were tasting all of these very rare Scotches that they had never, released to the world and stuff. It was pretty cool. And then I never had to write the article. They were like, we're not going to do the piece. It's like, cool.
That was like some Wolf of Wall Street style party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. It could have gone that way if there were some lewds around.
Well, there maybe were. You just didn't see that.
Yeah.
You didn't get to that part.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for them because I didn't want to be rolling when I got back to work.
I would have called in sick.
Yeah.
Party
Yeah, it would have been worth it. But I had a sailor hat like Nico. I wore.
Yeah.
They gave us all sailor hats, but you can't not wear a sailor hat.
Yeah, we have them at that shop. Yeah. It's a big seller.
Yeah, but they're just like little. They're real rinky. It's just like vinyl and some really cheap muslin.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're total pieces of crap.
Yeah. But they make you feel fancy.
Experience.
Make you feel dressier.
Come get your total piece of crap costume.
That should be your ad for you.
I was going to say, you're not in charge of advertising, are you?
It would blow up if you use that.
Yeah, if I saw that ad, I would buy something immediately.
I think so, yeah. In that sort of 60s style, or maybe even like an 80s sort of look, like a VHS sort of thing.
If you lean into it, I think it'd work.
Well, there's a hot minute that you were running the Instagram, weren't you? Over there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing it for the costume shop.
Yeah.
I've just been bad. What was the last one? The Shark Week one I did. That stupid thing.
That was a good one. The sharks.
Very proud of it. Yeah, the 70s photo.
Yeah.
I used to watch Shark Week a lot, but then I started to realize like all the shows are doing the exact same damn thing.
It's the same show every year over and over. And they just go, we still haven't, like, there's like 3 things that you really want them to discover, like, where are great whites, mating, and birthing. And it's like, every year you're like, they still didn't figure that out. Well, what you realize is you think it's like building on things, which it is. It's building on knowledge from year after year and all these, ocean, whatever the hell they're called, these human beings that do things with fish. by
phrasing.
Biology. What the hell do you call these ocean?
Marine biologists.
Marine biologists. Thank you.
I was going to call them oceanologists. That's it, right?
Ocean fish folk.
Fish people.
Yeah. But like you realize there's just like this little bit of money and they get to go out to a place for like a week. And every year it's like them going, oh, well, we're very hopeful. This is our technology for this year. And then kind of the technology kind of sucks or whatever. It kind of works. They have to kind of alter their plans. And then, there's going to be weather. And then all of a sudden they're like, we've only got 1 day left. And you're like, every year it's the same. Like that's the story with every one of these is they only had a week to film this,
Yeah,
and you're gonna barely find anything.
You probably like all these people are. Most of them are probably brilliant in their own way, and one of these great research projects. Like, but we don't have the money to do it. Suddenly, Discovery Channel shows up. Like, well, we'll give you a little bit, but you got to get us some dope shark footage.
Yeah. We got to make this trashy. Nope, you can't just be, tagging sharks alone.
Yeah.
You also have to do something else. You have to get a camera down there, and
one of your people has to almost get killed by a shark because they were doing something stupid.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like that whale show. What was that show called? Where they were trying to save the whales.
Oh, Whale Wars?
Whale Wars. Yeah, I was going to call it Operation Whale. That's not right.
Operation Beluga.
I really want to make a crude joke, but I'm not going to.
Hope it's not a crude oil joke.
Hey.
Still.
You
can just Exxon right out of here.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the rim shot joke. I watched an Archer episode last night where it was J.K. Simmons as a cop and Keegan-Michael Key as a cop. And they keep making jokes about what their gay porn names would be. And it always ends up one is like, I want my gay porn name to be Rim Shot. It's like this running joke the whole season.
Is that an Archer?
Yeah, it's like it was the season where they were in LA, but it wasn't like
So the detective agency in LA.
Yeah, biggest agency, and they had the two cops, and then we find Archer. Oh, spoilers, by the way. Archer, dead in the pool, and that's when they're having the biggest one about like I wish I could be a good actor. It's like, what if you did gay porn? What would your name be? Rim Shot?
You know what mine would be? Don Dong. Because I think it's just the dumbest, it's just the stupidest combination.
I don't know how we got on this. Sorry.
Or Rob Lowe.
There's
maybe be that too.
There's a great little documentary on Netflix about a little gay porn
Gerard
shop.
Buttlicker. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, it's fine. I was just thinking Sir Patrick something. Got to come up with.
This is definitely Nerds After Dark.
Yeah, right. Hugh Jack.
Jackham. Hugh Jackson.
Oh, it was a gay porn shop in Hollywood, and it's a great little documentary. It's adorable because it's just like it's this straight Jewish couple that kind of sort of stumbled on it, and they just decided to run it, and they ran it for like 35 years. But they do interview some gay porn stars. Jeff Stryker is my favorite one. He was that's a solid name, but there's a lot of good ones in there. Yeah, but Stryker with a Y, which makes it even better.
Is that the character from you said Hugh Jackman, but isn't Stryker's an X-Men? Isn't he the military guy that put adamantium on?
Brian Cox plays him in the Logan movie, I think. Yeah.
Brian Cox.
Hey, there you go. Apparently the X-Men is just
Cox
full.
plays Stryker.
Bagnito. I think if it was me,
Bagnito.
Mine would be Bilbo T. Baggins, probably.
Yeah. Scroto.
Yeah, Scroto's a good one. Yeah.
I have no idea what that character's from.
Ballum. Bilbo Baggins? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're still going to make you do it.
I know you guys are
going to watch all the Lord of the Rings, and you're going to like it.
You're going to watch all 800 hours of The Hobbits.
I won't even do that.
It's like, I don't have a month to watch all that.
Yes, you do.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
When we're in the middle of a pandemic, you can't say no, bro.
I did.
Okay, if you guys make me watch that, just think of all the text messages you guys are going to get from me while I'm watching it.
That's fine.
Oh, piss all over it.
You might love it.
You have a
you might love it. And then what?
I'm just gonna start lying about it then.
That week you've got Bilbo and Gandalf Funkos behind you. It's gonna happen.
Oh man.
Yeah, you can have all the Lord of the Rings
Can't
Funkos.
imagine how many of them there are.
Yeah.
So it was that Galadriel.
Just ask Nick.
No.
Stars are in Rise.
Nick, how
No.
many Lord of the Rings Funkos are there?
Yeah. It's more. Yeah.
I've only got 70 of them, but I think there's 5,000. And then you can army build.
What's an army build? Oh,
It's like when yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't just get one stormtrooper. I need 50.
right. You're like 30 orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it'll be really fun. I can't wait. I can't wait for the text messages from you about how much you.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say really horrible things to you guys.
I think you got to give it though. Like before you really judge it, you got to give it at least 6 hours. All right.
Because that'll get you halfway through Fellowship.
You'll get about
You
yeah.
guys are
Get you to
shitty
Tom
salesmen.
Bombadil.
Thank God that was not in the movie. I almost stopped reading the book at that point.
I got to the council
Yeah.
of Elrond, and I didn't.
Yeah.
It was like, I know this is a joke where people can't get through this, and then I didn't.
Yeah.
I stopped reading at that
It's
point.
obnoxious. There's a character in the book of the first book called Tom Bombadil, and I forget exactly what his purpose was, but he kind of just like sings songs and stuff. I mean,
He's
it's
in
like
the woods.
pages
Yeah.
and pages and pages of like poem
He's
lyrics.
like friends with the trees, right?
Yeah, he
Like,
talks to the trees.
because the trees, like, they get captured by the trees, and the trees like grow around and like capture them, and then Tom Bombadil shows up, and this jolly old man, and he sings to the trees, and they like are like, okay, these kids
Tom
are cool. I guess.
Bombadil. That's a porn name.
Yeah. Tom Gongadil.
Gongadil. Dongadil.
Bombadil.
But they didn't include him in the movie because he was always a laughing part of the books. Really, it was just like, this is a dumb
Yeah, he didn't
character.
move the plot at all.
Yeah, he just got them out of the trees and then they moved on from there. So
Or they probably hung out with him for a month knowing the book.
I'm
Yeah,
just
right.
already thinking about like what will be my favorite moment and my cringe moment from Lord of the Rings.
gonna get it.
I didn't love Two Towers because I think I liked the fantastical more. I was like, I really liked Fellowship and certainly all the wacky craziness that happens in Return of the King.
Yeah,
I
I like
enjoyed.
Return of the King a lot.
Like, yeah, it's like Brian. What's your cringe moment? Return of the King.
yeah, all 3.5
Just
hours
all of it. Yeah, that's a long ass movie.
It'd be good to sit through it though. I'd like to revisit them. I think at some point in time.
You know what I think we should do on our show sometime? We should all watch Drumstick Man and do a live commentary.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that sounds good.
I've got the costume.
Yeah, yeah.
Unhand.
So do I. I have my costume. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I wore the shirt last week.
Nice. Yeah, my Highlander shirt. I think the last time I washed it, I was like, Eric, you need to take it out of circulation.
Yeah, it's time
Put
to
it with Drumstick Man.
Yeah. What year is that shirt from? When did you get it?
Like late 90s. It's old. It's gonna fall apart.
Wow, and
Yeah.
you're still wearing it?
Yeah,
That's solid.
it kind of got misplaced for years, so I didn't wear it all the way through. So, but still,
It's amazing.
yeah, I've got shirts that are that old.
Yeah.
How old are you, Brian? I'm trying to think how old my shirt
25.
is.
No, I'll be 35 in
Nah.
January.
25. Be 35? Oh, perfect. That's a good year for
Yeah, I think.
for Monaco.
I'm old enough now where I'm like, wait, how old am I?
Yeah. Yeah, it's 41.
When I get past the fives, or like when I'm in the threes and sevens, you're like, I don't know what the hell I am.
Even 41 creeping up, it's just like, 40 was a big deal-ish, and now it's just like, it's just age now. You just kind of...
Yeah, it just is what it is.
Next thing will be
Just
50, I guess. Yeah. Hopefully
Yeah,
it'll
rough.
still be hot. Hot cops, they clean up the town.
We should make ourselves watch. No, we won't.
What's that?
The Netflix Arrested Development.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I got about halfway through that first episode, and I was good to go.
That first season's rough.
Epic fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of got a little on track, but then at the end of the day, you're like, man, it's just time's passed it up. You can't recreate this.
Because
it was what it was.
The magic of the show was everyone together, and
yeah.
then when you separate everyone and then try to create that dynamic again, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
No.
And two, it's just it's like the medium had moved on.
Right.
You know, it's like it was a wonderful time capsule, and it was this very fresh voice when it came out, and then it's like now it's just kind of like feels like reboot, retread.
What made it great in the first place was the adversity that it was going through. So for being a show that nobody was watching in the first season to being always under the gun of being canceled in the second season, the writers had nothing to lose. And so when you're creating a show from that framework, you tend to do some things that kind of can be very magical at the time. So when you've got all the money you want and all the support you want and a fan base and you're rebooting a show, it's not going to work. Yeah, there's just no way. No one can look at that show and say, hey, that was a good choice. You know, kind of like Space Force. Nope. It was not a good choice. Badly
What a
choice.
disappointment that was.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Major bummer.
Yeah.
That
Admiral
should have been his Admiral Bummer. Yeah.
That would be a good porn name.
Admiral Bummer.
The Rear Admiral.
Yeah. Rear Admiral Bummer. Reporting for duty. Well, they don't really report for duty, but in the Space Force? Oh, yeah. We're going to take this bunghole high.
0 G's.
Right, make sure you do your breathing exercises.
Nick, good choice for taking the week off.
Yeah, that's a good call. That said, any parting words, gentlemen? We'll wrap this show up.
Don't think so.
No? Yeah. Please don't make me watch Lord of the Rings.
It's happening!
It's totally happening. Ugh. I'm excited about that week. Very excited.
That week? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just do the first one. We'll just do Fellowship. Because that'll only take you 3.5 hours to get through. So, I mean, how long is the special edition?
In reality,
like 2.5
hours?
Yeah, 2.5 hours, give or take. You
got
to watch it in one sitting.
Theatrical.
Yeah. You can't get up, can't pause it. Can't be like you got to watch it straight through.
Return of the King is like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna brew a pot of coffee so that I can somehow stay awake.
Yeah, it's probably best.
And then you're gonna show up. And then dress up as Galadriel. That's all we're asking. That's it. That's all.
In case you're wondering, that's Cate Blanchett's character.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it in a few weeks. It would be that'd be a great Halloween episode. The music is epic.
Yeah, it's good. Howard Shore.
Yeah. Who later got fired off of King Kong because it sounded exactly like Lord of the Rings. So I love that. He's like,
"What do you want?"
We ended up not working together. It didn't work out. It sounded too much like Lord of the Rings. We're like, well, Peter, King Kong looks like Lord of the Rings. You jerk.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
Oh, you could do it, but I can't.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
It looks exactly the same.
King Kong. No, this is totally different.
King Kong. King Kong. King Kong. Why does King Kong have a ring? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Oh, and we will soon be on Amazon Podcasts and Audible Podcasts. So that's going to happen very soon, as I get that going.
Yeah.
They just launched their own podcast sites. Yeah. So thank you for joining us on Facebook. Thank you for joining us on YouTube and on Twitch, to that one lovely person who's been watching us this whole time. We love you, truly. And we'll see you next week. We're going to be reviewing and talking about Synecdoche, New York next week. So if y'all haven't seen that movie, take a look at it. Join in on the chat.
Watch it.
Watch it. And then the following week, we'll be doing Lord of the Rings. Maybe. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Have a good night. Thank you for listening.